Hello friends, it's me, and today let's watch why is wicked fashion so iconic. Style theory from Style Theorists. Together, let's go. Let's start. Thank you.
Wicked is the beloved musical about the friendship between Elphaba and Galinda. But while many know the story and the songs, few know the lore hidden in Wicked's wonderful costumes. From nods to the original film, hints at what's to come, and just some wickedly fabulous looks, here is everything you need to know about the fashion of Wicked. Hello Internet, welcome to Style Theory, the show that's holding space for Oz's swankified fashion.
Hello Internet, welcome to Style Theory.
Whether you're a Galinda girly or a friend of Elphaba, it's clear that there is no movie right now more great and powerful than Wicked.
And listen, I know that the music is fire and the story is super impactful, but I have to be honest, one of the reasons I keep coming back to Wicked is the fashion.
There's a reason that costume designer Paul Tazewell won the Oscar for costuming for the first film. It's just that good.
Now, if you'll just give me a clock tick.
No more clock ticks.
It's important, okay? While we will be talking about the fashion in Wicked for good, we will not be spoiling any major plot points not already shown in the trailer. If you know, you know, and if you don't, well, I'm not gonna tell you. Now, let's get started on our fashion deep dive.
Let's begin. Let's start. So as what Amy mentioned at the start of this video, it is an award-winning show. The bar is quite high. The expectation is quite high. Let's try our best.
Let's start with the Queen of Green herself, the titular Wicked Witch, Elphaba Throp.
Wicked is the reimagined story of the Wicked Witch from The Wizard of Oz, taking inspiration from both the original movie and the book of the same name.
And we can see that inspiration clearly from the very first time that Elphaba arrives at Shiz University in the first movie.
Elphaba's debut outfit is a monochrome black long-sleeve chiffon top layered under a felted wool and silk pinafore dress, kinda similar to what we see her wear as a child in flashbacks. This outfit is then topped with a structured cashmere coat with puffed shoulders.
This is a change from the stage musical, where Elphaba typically wears a blue suit jacket, skirt, and turtleneck, paired of course with an equally blue beanie. Do you think she was inspired by a specific blue logo? I'm kidding.
Style Theory! Hey!
Okay? It's likely because pure black ensembles are pretty hard to see on stage, even with the stage lights.
According to Wicked's costume designer Paul Tazewell,
Who, fun fact, also did the costumes for Hamilton and productions of The Wiz.
this look wasn't just a nod to the original Wicked Witch design from the 1939 movie, but a character choice.
She's in black because she's in mourning for her mother. That idea of the Victorian era when you held on to black and purple and gray clothes.
Most of Elphaba's wardrobe seems to take inspiration from either the Victorian era or the Edwardian era that followed.
The leg of mutton or gigot style sleeves of her coat were all the rage in the 1890s, appearing on coats, dresses, and tops of women of all classes. The rest of the garments at that time were usually a bit more fitted, leaning into a tapered waist and a more hourglass shape that was popular at the time.
Her shirt also
Popular.
fits this
You gotta be
1890s kind of style,
popular.
from its high collars to its Mameluke-inspired sleeves.
Mameluke sleeves, often confused for Marie sleeves, started as the military fashion of the Mameluke soldiers of the Ottoman Empire. They had similar puff segments, but were more tapered and functional than their Marie counterpart. Over time, this style evolved as Europeans brought it into their everyday wardrobe.
By the early 19th century, we saw the sleeve making its way into civilian fashion, especially in European military-inspired designs. Think of those pirate or sailor styles, not too far off the Mamluk look.
And then you have the details.
Like her long nails, which were inspired by actress Cynthia Erivo herself and changed color over the course of the movie to reflect Elphaba's journey, Erivo also fought for Elphaba's micro braids as a way to connect her culture as a black woman to Elphaba's own background.
The wigs for the first film, the braids, they're very tidy in Wicked for Good. It's all like loose and free to make it feel like she'd really been on her own, she'd been on her journey.
And of course, there are her now iconic asymmetrical glasses. That likely took inspiration from an Italian brand called Casanova that gained popularity in the 1980s for its bold artistic frames.
They really play into that unique Ozian style that we see throughout the films, though they are suspiciously absent from Wicked for Good. Maybe that's why Elphaba has so much trouble reading during No Good Deed. Elphaba The Shiz uniform also follows these 1890s inspirations, with its exaggerated shoulders and hourglass shape, though it does give it a more modern twist.
The 1940s saw a rise of victory suits, also known as utility suits. These were two-piece sets made up of a skirt and blazer. This menswear-inspired look was part of the wartime fashion of the era, where practicality reigned supreme. These suits came in varying lengths as well as many different colors and patterns.
So the pinstripe look that we see on Elphaba would be considered very bold and revolutionary.
Pinstripe was traditionally considered for men. It only started to gain popularity with women during the late 1890s with the women's rights movement.
And I'm not gonna lie, I totally agree with you. It showcased like a boss girl vibe, 女强人vibe. And back then, we are talking about like 100 years ago, I guess. 100 years ago was very old, very old ago. Yeah. Back then, I totally agree with the women's rights ideas back then. I totally agree with the values of women's rights back then. Now, okay. Wow. Okay, anyways.
The rise of the new woman, who valued education, career, and her future over traditional roles.
Which makes it a perfect fit for Elphaba, who is defying traditional Aussian expectations and standing up for her fellow Aussians who are being oppressed, the talking animals.
It does have some of the teal that is part of the Shiz pinstripe world, but it stays on the darker spectrum.
According to Tazewell, the school uniform we see in the first movie is actually a Dior suit, and over the course of her gaining confidence in her magic and her place at Shiz, we see her start to shed some of those layers, losing the jacket and opting for white button-down blouses paired with pinafore dresses, and either tights or trousers layered under her skirts.
Listen, if there's one thing Elphaba loves more than Fiyero, Galinda, or even her mission, it's buttons. The girl is covered in them, even when she's sleeping.
In Popular, Elphaba appears to be wearing a white button-down camisole paired with matching pants, and layered under a gray housecoat that includes purple embellishments on both the lapels and cuffs.
We actually see the wizard wear a similar style housecoat in Wicked for Good, though his is emerald green and embroidered with flowers that look like they could be poppies.
This is a change-up from his emerald coat and pants from the first movie, though he does still pair it with a steampunk-inspired vest, this time in a golden green.
But enough about him. We need to talk about one of the fan favorite looks from What Is This Feeling? Also, man, Elphaba is busy. Going to school, dealing with a crazy roommate, and starting a revolution? I mean, where do you think she finds the time to keep her studio treehouse apartment clean? I'm not out here saving Oz, and I still struggle to keep my place clean. I mean, have you seen my background? But I can't just open a grimoire and magic this place clean. Or maybe—
Okay, mine is not exactly. Sorry.
maybe I can. With the help of our sponsor for today's episode, Homaglow.
Homaglow takes the stress out of keeping your home clean. They connect you with a roster of qualified and trustworthy cleaners to help you stop sweeping things under the rug and start actually making your space tidy. It's the holidays, and we are all trying to maximize our time with our loved ones. I mean, I know that I look forward to making Christmas cookies together every single year, but my oven, needed a full makeover.
Which, I'll be honest, I don't have the first clue where to start on something like that wouldn't end up lighting up in flames like the statue in Munchkin Land.
So Homaglow matched me with a professional that could work their magic to make it sparkle like the Emerald City. And it was super easy. I could even text with my cleaner to let them know what I needed and make sure everything was set before they arrived.
Whether you're looking to clean up before the holidays or just gift a cleaning to a loved one, Homaglow is here to help you keep your life simple and squeaky clean.
For just $59 a month, you can get a Forever Clean membership, which will save you $30 per hour on all future cleanings. And you'll be getting your first 3 hours of cleaning for only $19. Yes, 3 hours of cleaning for just $19. All you have to do is scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the description. So why not finish out your year with a clean home and get a fresh start on 2026 to start your year off right? Scan the QR code on screen to start your Forever Clean membership and book your first appointment right now. Thanks again to Homaglow for sponsoring this episode. In What Is This Feel?
Well, thank you so much for supporting this episode from the Style Theorists. Thank you. Let's continue.
Elphaba switches things up, trading in the pants for a white full-length chemise, which also happened to be popular around that same 1890s timeframe. This one features a similar button-down closure to her previous sleeve set, with an added black ribbon detailing around the neck and waistline.
Plus, we get the pigtails. Listen, I can't help it. I am obsessed with this look on her. It is so cute.
She pairs this with a robe, and while we never quite get a clear shot of it, it appears to be a wide weave knitwear piece with either a poet or a bell sleeve.
And we all know how Elphaba loves her knitwear, don't we? It's okay if you don't understand what I'm talking about, just ask Fiera.
Her sleepwear is also the only place that we see softness in her wardrobe, as all of her other looks are meant to be restrictive and contained.
We only see her start to experiment once she's introduced to Glinda.
In the first movie, we see Glinda give Elphaba her granny's handmade hat to wear to the Ozdust dance.
Motivations aside, the hat is obviously modeled after the one from the 1939 film, though it did go through multiple iterations before it reached this rouged look that we see in the movie.
And she pairs it with a riff on her first look of the movie, only this time it's more intricate and sheer to show her growing confidence. And while it does have a subtle purple ombre, it's mainly another full black look.
What's that saying? You know, the one that goes, if an outfit isn't interesting through color, it needs to be interesting through shape and texture. Well, oh boy, do we have your texture.
So I aligned her with nature. We've reinterpreted the underside of mushrooms as these swirling pleats that are applied onto the net of her blouse and felted into the surface of the wool. You'll see fiddle ferns embroidered onto the surface of her waistcoat.
This nature-inspired aesthetic continues into her defying gravity fit.
This dress is covered in organic patterns inspired by tree bark and mushrooms, with a similar mix of fabrics we've seen throughout the films. But in contrast to the structure and rigidity of her earlier looks, this one has more flow and movement. And I don't just mean the velvet cape.
It has no buttons. Elphaba has truly broken free. And in Wicked for Good, we see this look evolve again.
It is an upcycle of the trench coat that we've seen her in Wicked Part 1. Waxed linen, all of the pin tucks and detailing. It references tree bark and those things that are organic.
And it has pants. Pants! I don't think there's a girl in the original movie that actually wears pants.
Throughout history, pants have been a symbol of female liberation and resistance. It wasn't until the 1850s, when bloomers gained popularity with the rising women's rights movement, that things started to shift. These bloomers weren't your typical pants, they were loose, gathering at the waist and ankles. It wasn't until the 1930s when women were finally able to go out in more tailored trousers, thanks in part to stars like Katharine Hepburn making it more mainstream.
Though it still wasn't considered acceptable until around the 1960s, when protest movements once again embraced pants as a visual for rebellion. Needless to say,
And case in point, I just totally agree with you. Wearing pants for females is quite practical. It's genuinely very practical in life. Okay, if they have to fight, the very fact that back in the days they had to fight for it shows the lack, how behind it was back in the days. Not now. Now, I don't think I can support a lot of things that they're trying to say. Okay, some of the things that they're trying to say, the women movements. But back in the days, back in our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers' era, I totally agree.
as the leader of a rebellion herself, Elphaba and her pants are in very good, powerful company. And speaking of company, I think it's about time that we talk about the big pink bubble in the room. Glinda, or Galinda as I should say, is a pretty picture in pink throughout most of the films. This is a big departure from the original stage production, where she would wear many colors alongside the pink like blue, yellow, and even green. Now this was a nod to the original pink bubble dress of the 1939 movie, which Tazewell said he wanted to bring more into the costumes of the movie. But let's be real, it's also a pretty easy way to distinguish your two main characters on screen. And as Galinda said, pink goes good with green.
It so does.
And right away, we see Glinda in her own version of the iconic pink bubble dress. This modern take loses the bubble shoulders and sleeves to go with a sleeveless corset top with iridescent overlays. We also see the movie update her crown from the original very, cylindrical hat to a giant tiara.
No, really, I think it might be the same size as Ariana Grande's head.
And while the skirt keeps the same voluminous silhouette, it changes up the style from that princess cut to tiered swirling organza covered in tiny sparkling bubbles. This whole look has a light air-like quality, which was on purpose. Tazewell wanted all of Glinda's outfits to have a lighter than air-like look, which is why, as we continue to explore Glinda's closet, we'll see many sheer light fabrics and cutouts designed to let light filter through as if she's always floating on air.
When we meet Galinda at Shiz, she's already in her school uniform.
While the general look of blazer and skirt is similar to what we see worn by both Elphaba and the other students of Shiz, this one has been Galindified.
Like we saw with Elphaba's, Galinda's uniform also incorporates some of that Shiz blue, while still staying true to her character's overall pink color palette.
Her pink undershirt includes a ruffled neckline and cuffs, and the very unique detail of butterfly appliques that we see a bit more clearly during the song What Is This Feeling?
These things I send to try yours.
You can actually see in that same scene that her two besties of the movie are trying to twin with her, adding ruffles and that signature Galinda pink to their own uniforms. Galinda's own blazer has an asymmetrical button closure, similar to the ones we see on Elphaba throughout the film, while her vest,
If we can even call it a vest.
has an asymmetrical one-shouldered neckline that connects to an equally asymmetrical skirt piece, which is then layered over another pleated underskirt. This look is topped off with matching gloves and a curved fastener tipped jauntily to one side.
Overall, it gives a very Jackie O kind of aura.
Jackie O was the wife and
Okay, just stop for a moment and wow. If you actually pay attention to these details, brilliant. No wonder it's award winning. Award winning for a reason, I guess.
First Lady of President John F. Kennedy. She was known for her poise, her relatable yet regal disposition, and, of course, her fashion. While she wore many styles, including gowns, gloves, hats, and even the occasional trousers, she is arguably most famous for her two-piece sets.
Actually, a number of Galinda's looks from the original stage musical seem to take direct inspiration from the iconic First Lady, including its version of Galinda's Shiz uniform. Which makes sense. Like Jackie through most of her life, Galinda is used as a political figurehead, and a powerful one at that thanks to her popularity with the people. Just like Jackie. But while not all of those outfits made it into the films, we do still see some of that style inspiration stick around.
First up, there is this strappy cap-sleeve dress that she wears to romance Fiyero in the first movie. Once again, we see both the butterfly wing hemlines that call back to that first look, as well as the reoccurring bubble motif in the circle cutouts in the dress.
Apologies to viewers with trypophobia because this dress is not for you.
We see her wear another two-piece variant
sorry.
in Wicked for Good, this time with a voluminous ankle-length dress paired with a flounce sleeve jacket, which is a type of sleeve that sits somewhere between a ruffle and a bell sleeve.
I'm obsessulated.
Then, on their trip to meet the wonderful Wizard of Oz, we see Galinda wear another matching set in all pink.
Her jacket has a very unique structure, with its open curved neckline that's made to show off the ruffled pink chiffon of the dress underneath. We see that same neckline shape reflected again in the bottom hemline of the jacket. And the open center shows off more of the underdress.
These curved edges are in stark contrast to the sharp points and angles that we see Elphaba wear throughout the movie.
But the real stars of the jacket are those amazing sleeves. The ruffles and sheer fabrics work together to give the shoulders that bubble-like quality, which is perfect for our girl in the bubble.
Though, I do want to point out that we have seen this silhouette quite a few times throughout the films. On Elphaba. Seems like the influencer is being influenced. Now, unfortunately, this jacket meets an untimely end thanks to the flying.
Okay, so case in point, wow, the fashion designers behind the movie. Wow, I mean, wow. The devil is in the details, and there is a lot of details included.
monkeys.
Oh!
Rip. Literally.
Underneath is a sleeveless pink tea-length dress that we get to see on full display throughout the Defying Gravity sequence. This dress has a ton of detail, mixing
Yeah, rip. Rest in peace.
tones and textures of pink through intricate micro-pleating. And it features a detail that will become a running motif throughout the rest of Galinda's wardrobe, the ruffled cap sleeve.
We see a more extravagant version of this during Thank Goodness in Wicked for Good, where Galinda wears this purple gown to address the citizens of Munchkinland. Now, this is a controversial gown amongst hardcore Aussians for two main reasons.
One, it is a big change from the stage production, where Galinda typically wears this blue and green asymmetrical suit number.
Two, fans were expecting a completely different dress thanks to the trailer and the marketing posters.
This pink and green dress doesn't actually appear anywhere in the final cut of the movie, but it does bear more resemblance to the original Thank Goodness suit, with the fastener, the structured bodice, and the sharp angles.
Now, we may never know why this dress officially got cut from the film, but my guess is that the sharpness of the bodice didn't fit with the visual story of Galinda for the movies. And showing her in green,
Like, she's bubbly, she's bubbly, like round, but not sharp corners. It can be a bit, too sharp, I guess. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm sorry.
aligned her too closely visually with the Wicked Witch at that point in the film. But that's just a theory. Instead, we got
A style theory! Keep looking sharp.
this glorious gown, which is giving big bubble energy thanks to its iridescent coloring.
This dress pays homage to the original blue dress worn for the stage production, bringing in some of the color and beading that made it so iconic. And of course, those dramatic butterfly wing shoulder ruffles and sheer sleeves.
A callback to the silhouette of the original bubble dress from the 1939 movie. And, stay with me, maybe even a callback to this famous dress worn by Greta Garbo in Camille. Tell me, can you see the vision?
The beading of the corset top also mimics the shapes that the fabric makes in that original bodice. Similarly, the skirt that mixes layers of blue, pink, and purple fabrics has the familiar shape of the original bubble dress. And to top it all off, both the skirt and sleeves are covered in tiny little bubbles.
See? I told you the bubbles keep coming back. And we see all of her
Bubbles.
fashion favorites come back in her wedding dress.
A corset top and princess skirt? Check. Asymmetrical and sparkly? Check. Butterflies?
There are spirals of flying butterflies that run the perimeter of her hand, run the perimeter of the 25-meter long veil that she's wearing, crowned with a cluster of butterflies as well.
Check. But there are three final fits that stand out from the rest thanks to their uniqueness. First is Glinda's boudoir look from Popular.
Tazewell has stated that he pulled inspiration for Galinda's clothes from old Hollywood starlets, and that is most apparent in this outfit. The big, voluminous pom-poms
That, yes, do resemble both flowers and bubbles.
and draped sheer fabric call back to looks worn by Joan Crawford, Carol Lombard, Joan Bennett, Jean Harlow, and of course, Hedy Lamarr.
Also, did you know that she's the reason that we have Wi-Fi? Yeah, it's true. Anyway, fun fact, now back to the fashion.
This 1930s
Oh, fun fact, I guess. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much.
noir aesthetic is mixed with that era's love of dressing gowns, which were often worn around the house as pajamas.
Second is her floral-inspired dress from the Oz Dust dance.
This dress brings in the only yellow we see Galinda wear in the film. It mixes with the pink to create a lovely ombre effect and includes her signature sparkles. Also, let's take a closer look at the way that the fabric is layered.
This whole look is meant to resemble the petals of a rose.
I was living in London as we were in production. There were these beautiful roses that were in Regent's Park, and I thought, oh my gosh, that would be so reflective of who Glinda is.
And finally, I want to call out the only other time that we see Galinda wear white outside of her wedding.
In a series of flashbacks, we see Galinda wear what looks to be a white dress. Though we never get a clear look at it, it appears to have similar details to her dress from Defying Gravity, with the detailed stitching on the bodice and the use of ruffles. But this time it seems to be layered under a fuzzy hooded coat.
Visually, this makes her the yang to Elphaba's yin. But for the people who are familiar with the original stage production or who have already seen Wicked for Good, you know why I just had to mention it. And I need to mention a few other familiar faces before we can wrap up this epic episode.
To be fair, I really much appreciate Amy from the Saltierists for introducing the Chinese concept yin yang, right? Yin yang. Thank you. You know. Yeah, cool.
While Elphaba and Glinda definitely steal the spotlight, there are a few other fashionable faces in Oz that we should talk about, like the movie's love interest, Fiyero.
As a prince, it only makes sense that during the first movie, we mainly see Fiyero dressed in royal blue.
It got that name in part due to its association with French royalty.
And it eventually made its way into the uniforms of the French royal guards.
This could also be foreshadowing Fiyero's eventual role in Oz's secret police.
In fact, both his outfits from Dancing Through Life and the Oz Dust Dance have clear military inspiration to their design, which we then see used again in his Captain of the Guard uniform in Wicked for Good.
Now, the other color that we see Fiyero wear consistently is gold.
A color that doesn't just paint him as a well-off Ozian, but one that calls back to the yellow brick road and the golden wheat fields that we see throughout the landscape of Oz during Dorothy's journey.
And Bok, the munchkin that joins Glinda in Elphaba's scandalicious squad at Shiz University, also wears a lot of gold mixed with his Shiz blue.
His overall look takes a lot of inspiration from the munchkins of the original movie, with their love of patterns, colors, and statement socks. The cropped pants Bok wears throughout the movie also pay homage to the short stature of the original film, something that is not seen in the musical adaptation.
And there is one other time that we see Bok pay homage to the munchkins that came before him.
In a flashback, we see Bok wear a rusted colored jacket with plated shoulders, paired with a matching pointed hat. In the original Wizard of Oz movie, we do see multiple munchkins rocking pointed headwear.
Though, none of them are quite the same unique shape that we see Bok wear. I wonder why. Anyway, we can't talk about Bok and not also mention Nessa.
Nessa's fashion throughout both movies is a reflection of the people around her. When we first meet her, she's dressed in an outfit that closely resembles the Shiz uniform in color, though the silhouette matches her sister, Elphaba's. She's also one of the only main characters to actually wear an accurate school uniform,
Even if it's only in the posters. This could reflect Nessa's deepest desire to fit in and feel normal, which she mentions multiple times throughout both movies.
Her Oz Dust dress is a custom piece of knitwear, paired with the silver heels that we see her father gift her at the start of the first film.
There's an innocence about her. There's youth keeping her in lighter tones. There's a lot of white. I was very interested in giving her this feeling of untouchable perfection.
We also see something similar in the flashbacks, where Nessa wears two other looks. One is another knitwear piece, this time in pink and paired with a pleated white skirt. While the shoulders of this top are still reminiscent of Elphaba's iconic silhouette, the color is all Glinda. Similarly, her second outfit, also knitwear, is a mix of blue and pink, paired with some very Munchkinland inspired socks.
Clearly, Bok has been rubbing off on her.
Moving on.
Moving on, by Wicked for Good, however, we see Nessa trade this in for a
The subtext was like, moving on. Alright, let's continue.
deep dark purple number that is much more reminiscent of the silhouette that her sister Elphaba usually wears, despite how much Nessa tells us that she doesn't want to be associated with her sister. Though, to be fair, it could also be a nod to the movie Return to Oz from 1985, which was a sequel of sorts to the original movie.
Specifically, this outfit worn by actress Jean Marsh. And I just have to say, call it a stretch if you want, but I also can't deny seeing some similarities between Fairuza Balk's dress from that same movie and Nessa's Ozdusk dress.
But you can tell me in the comments below if you see the vision or if you think that I'm seeing things. Both could be true.
As
Well, comment down below. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Governor of Munchkinland, we see Nessa bring more of their designs into her look, both in her hairstyle and, once again, in her fun choice of socks.
And look, she's still wearing her silver shoes. They really are perfect for any occasion. Going to a school dance, going to work, going on a stroll through Munchkinland on a windy day. Oh, I should mention Madame Morble, because I love Michelle Yeoh.
Her style is inspired by her powers, which is the ability to control the weather. From the windswept, almost tornado-like shape of her hair, down to the details of her dresses.
Her blue dress was inspired by the night sky.
The collar and almost cartography-style symbols make the gown feel almost like a map a sailor would use. And what do sailors need to make their boats go?
Wind.
Oh my goodness! That actually makes a lot of sense. Like, her outfit looks like map, and it just linked. Wow, this costume designers are. Alright, you guys are brilliant.
See this again in the swirled pattern of her blue and brown dress, which is layered under a brown cloak with a rune print like the text we see in the grimoire. And most of the silhouettes that we see her wear throughout both films plays into the wise old wizard trope from classic fantasy, what with the billowing sleeves, rich fabrics, and extravagant colors.
But I haven't told you about the best fit in the entire franchise, one that may be worn by someone you don't expect. Remember how I told you that Galinda lost her bubblicious pink jacket to a flying monkey in the
Don't tell me it's the monkey! Don't tell me that!
first film?
Well, look who showed up ready to slay.
No!
And for good.
Yes, monkey!
No!
To show you that one person's stolen jacket can be another's fashion awakening.
No!
That's just a theory. A style theory. Keep looking sharp. Next time on Style Theory.
K-pop Demon Hunters is everywhere, and it has everything you could ever want.
Well, I did not expect that plot twist at the end of this video from the style theories, but hey, that's just a theory. A style theory! Keep looking sharp. Thank you so much, hope you guys enjoyed this video from the style theories, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you.